We're back live tonight here on In Focus, and thanks for staying on. Water and Sanitation Minister Senzo Mchunu and his delegation are in New York for the United Nations Water Conference. The gathering began today and ends on Friday. The minister expected to outline measures undertaken by South Africa to ensure water security by 2030 and beyond. For more on this, we're joined now by Dr. Phillips, the Director General in the Department of Water and Sanitation. Dr. Phillips, good evening. Good to have you, and thank you very much for your time. Hopefully you can be able to hear me there. Global freshwater ecosystems generally are under a whole lot of pressure worldwide, but also we see it here in South Africa. What is key to our participation in this UN Water Conference?
Good evening, Tabo, and thank you very much for the opportunity, and good evening to your listeners. I say good evening, but it's early afternoon here in New York. We're here really to try and achieve a number of objectives. One is that on the sidelines of the conference, we're having meetings with the ministers and administrative leaders of other countries, including the Netherlands, Finland, and Denmark, and we're going to be signing cooperation agreements with them, which involves them sharing their expertise and experience with us, and as part of their overseas development assistance, them assisting us in various areas, including how we manage groundwater, which Denmark in particular has a lot of experience in. And we're also learning from them about how they manage their municipal water service delivery. They have well-governed and professionally managed utilities which manage their water service delivery, and we want to learn from that for possible reforms with our municipal water sector here in South Africa. Yeah. So another key area which is a major focus of the conference is how countries are adapting to climate change and the impacts of climate change on water, which is especially important for water-scarce countries such as South Africa. So we're here to learn a lot from the experiences of other countries in that regard, and to share what we're doing. These conferences are very useful because a lot of what we do in South Africa is informed by our knowledge of what happens in other countries.
Right.
So when we come to a conference like this, we can intensely listen to what other countries are doing, how they're dealing with issues such as climate change, which cut across borders, so that we can have common approaches, and so that we can also improve what we're doing at home with regard to these issues.
So the minister will be part of the dialogue on water for climate resilience and environment. What experiences, apart from what we are there to learn, what experiences do we have to share as South Africa on water governance?
What experiences do we have in South Africa in terms of water governance?
In terms of water governance, as I indicated, we're well aware that we need to improve the governance, particularly of water services in South Africa. We have many challenges, as you and the viewers know. We have many challenges with municipalities which are struggling to deliver water and sanitation services well. So there's a big emphasis here in this conference on improving governance and institutions in the water sector. And we're hoping to get to be part of the formulation of some key UN resolutions about the importance of having well-governed institutions if we're going to meet the Sustainable Development Goals and provide water services to all in a sustainable manner. There's also other aspects of governance which we're discussing here at the conference. For example, transnational arrangements for managing water resources is a key issue which affects South Africa and which affects many other countries in the world. We share a number of our rivers and water systems with neighboring countries, and so we're participating in a number of sessions where the experiences of countries around the world in terms of transnational co-governance of water, of rivers and water catchments are discussed.
Yeah. Dr. Phillips, how seriously do we take the commitments that we make at these gatherings to the resolutions, for example, around our work towards the water action agenda? I mean, what have we done so far towards that particular campaign?
We take them very seriously as a department. Achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals, which is the United Nations objective, is one of our key focus areas and something we monitor. So we participate in all the United Nations structures and processes with regard to monitoring the achievement of SDG 6, which focuses on various water-related objectives, such as enabling everybody to have access to a safe water supply, to safe sanitation, in addition to protecting the environment, protecting our water courses and our ecology, and other aspects of water management. So we're doing quite well in some areas of the SDG 6. For example, as I indicated, we're doing relatively well in terms of our international management of our shared rivers and our shared catchments with our neighboring countries. And in fact, at a conference like this, there's quite a lot of interest from other countries in how we're managing, how we're jointly managing with our neighboring countries the shared water resources. But we're not doing so well in some of the other areas of the Sustainable Development Goal, particularly in the area of ensuring safe and adequate water and sanitation to our population. As we've found with our blue and green drop assessments, unfortunately, we are moving away from meeting our targets in that regard rather than towards them. And so addressing that is a major focus for us. And that's one of the reasons why we're keen to learn here about how other countries have dealt with this problem. And in fact, we're finding that many countries here are saying that they have similar problems with regard to weaknesses with their institutions, such as municipalities, which deliver water services, and that they need to be strengthened. So we are sharing ideas here with them about how water services institutions' governance can be improved.
Yeah. One of the special envoys attending this conference said this, Dr. Phillips says, what we need to see coming out of this gathering is some amazing inclusive partnerships of public and private as well as citizen-led initiative around innovation. So you are there also partly to make some partnerships with investors. What areas of investment are you looking at with some of the donors that would be there?
We want to see our partnerships coming out with partnerships
We just had a session this morning in which I participated on the panel about partnerships. So there's various types of partnerships which are under discussion. One of them is partnerships between countries, which is very important given the fact that water doesn't know the boundaries of countries, and given that we have to deal with global challenges such as climate change. And then there were also discussions around partnerships between government and partnership and the private sector and communities, and the importance of doing thorough and careful preparation for such partnerships was emphasized, and experiences about what can go wrong when you enter into such partnerships were shared, and good practice about how to prepare and plan for such partnerships was shared as well. In fact, what was quite interesting was that one of the other participants, not someone from South Africa, indicated that they're looking at the progress that's been made in South Africa with the infrastructure fund and some of the blended finance projects which are being put in place by the infrastructure funds located in the DBSA, working together with National Treasury to enable us to have greater private sector participation. So in that regard, for example, we are going to be implementing the Umkomazi Dam project, which is a blended finance project which will have 50% of the money provided by the private sector, 25% provided as an interest-free loan from National Treasury, and 25% as a grant from National Treasury. So there's quite a lot of interest in the kind of blended finance, innovative approaches to financing to enable the private sector to participate that we're sharing, and we also want to learn more from other countries about how they're involving the private sector more. We need to do much more of that in South Africa. We have our banks and pension funds are very keen to invest much more in water infrastructure, but the challenge is The biggest challenge is for us as government to be able to bring bankable projects to market. And so we're looking at the experiences of other countries with regard to getting more private sector investment in water infrastructure, so that we can increase that in South Africa.
Dr. Phillips, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much for coming on tonight. Dr. Sean Phillips, he's the Director General at the Department of Water and Sanitation.